Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Ricans Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Ricans.
This is Patrick Ricans with the Patrick Ricans Show. I want a girl with a short skirt and a long jacket. Is that on your Christmas list, Tori?
Yes. No.
No, yeah.
I already got one.
You just remembered.
What are you trying to
Exactly.
do to me, man?
Well, hey, I figured you'd know. You'd say, no, I do not want that, Patrick.
Now look,
I love my wife. Yeah. Well,
she knows I do.
Yeah, stop by the convenience store down the street here and pick her up a little six of something, and that'll cure everything.
Yeah.
She'll be happy.
6-pack of something and a paper rose.
Paper rose, yeah. I'd just go with the 6.
Okay, we'll do that then.
All right. This segment, I want to address something from last week's show. Actually, this has been a sore point for a few people for the last couple of shows. And if you haven't guessed by now, it is this Hurricane Sandy controversy I seem to have stirred up. I have been receiving lots of emails and cards and letters. No death threats yet. But who knows? There may be one in the offing.
Still got hope.
Yeah, we still have hope. What everybody's kind of getting on me about is saying I shouldn't attack the victims of Hurricane Sandy like I do, and to all those people I say, look, you're going to have to listen to this show. Listen to what I'm saying, not what you think I'm saying, but what I am actually saying.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
To the victims of Hurricane Sandy, I'm sorry the storm hit you again. And I'm going to address this just like I did a couple of weeks ago. But it isn't my fault. I did not send the hurricane up there. I did not tell you to live close to the shore. I didn't tell you to live in a flood-prone area. Just like the people in Louisiana who live below sea level. I didn't tell you to live there. Or people who live in California, earthquake country. I didn't tell you to live there either. In fact, I would tell you to live someplace a little more safe. It's like some of those cabins up in the Smoky Mountains are built with about 4 feet of cabin sitting on the ground, and the rest is on stilts on the side of a mountain. So now if it rains too hard and the thing slides down the mountain, well, don't come crying to me about how you lost everything. If you build your house someplace where it is dangerous to sit, that's your fault, not mine. Now you may argue, but Patrick, to build those houses, they had to meet the local and state building codes. If they have done that, it isn't their fault then. Okay, well, if the local and state laws were satisfied with the building of a house in that area, now, I'm not so sure they guarantee it, but they are sure more responsible for it than me. On the other hand, if I tell you to run into traffic and you're stupid enough to do it, then that really is your fault. You should have the common sense to know when you're getting bad advice. If you choose to skydive, don't scream at me if your parachute didn't open. If you're going to climb a mountain, don't expect me to pay your bills if you get hurt and can't. If you're going to take chances in your life, don't expect others to pay when something goes wrong. And yes, just living life is a chance. You could do everything right and still have something happen to you. Again, that isn't my fault, and I shouldn't be expected to pay for it. It is not the government's job to provide charity to other citizens. I spent 2 whole segments on this show about this very subject. You can go back and listen to it. In fact, I would encourage you to do so. All the archive shows are on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Patrick Ricans Show. Too many people want to talk about reducing the deficit, reducing taxes, reducing the size and scope of government until they need something out of it. Then they start whining about how unfair life is and how government should provide for them. It's a whole different argument when they have something they want. I addressed this last week with the hypocrisy of New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. You can hear it in the same place on YouTube. Go back and listen to it. I don't give my permission to post my past shows just to give my staff something to do. It is because they will help you learn how you should be thinking in your life, in your quest to get off this fatalistic addiction to government, to looking to government to solve all your problems. And yes, it is an addiction. And yes, I've addressed that too in my past shows. Same place on YouTube. Go listen and learn. If you like what you hear, great. If you don't, that's still great, because I now have you thinking outside the box, thinking outside your normal range of thinking about issues affecting your life. If you're going to make the argument we should be spending federal money to help these people hit by Hurricane Sandy or any disaster, if you're going to make that argument that it is okay in this case, this is the exception to the federal government staying out of it, then don't call this show complaining about foreign aid going to help others around the world. Our government was founded on the principle of natural rights, rights that all people are born with, not just Americans. And if we are going to help one group of humans, then we better be ready to help all humans in the same way, or we are being hypocrites. We are picking favorites, one group of humans, Americans, over another group of humans, non-Americans. They'll send me emails and letters telling me I'm being cold-hearted because I don't want to spend taxpayers' money on helping other people. That is not in the Constitution. If you want to send money to private charities helping people, fantastic. That is what you should be doing. But taking money at the point of a gun, which is how government taxes are collected, just don't pay them and see who comes knocking on your door. But exactly. It's more like a kick, Tory. Yes. Taking money at the point of a gun and giving it to another citizen in the form of charity is the absolutely wrong thing to do. And every diehard listener of this show would agree with me on that. If I come on this show and say, all these people who don't want to work are downtrodden and cannot keep a job, we have to support them, I'll have the phone lines packed with people who disagree with me on that. They'll be saying, no, that isn't our duty to carry these people. It isn't our duty to provide them with housing, food, even on Obama phone. When I come on here, when I come on here and say it isn't our responsibility to be rebuilding other states with taxpayers' money for charity, I get cards, letters, emails flooding the station and my inbox telling me how I'm wrong. Either it is okay to do it across the board, or it isn't okay to do it. You can't have it both ways. It doesn't work that way on this radio show. Now, other hosts and commentators will do the politician type of thing and try to say it's okay in this one instance, but not in this other. And when they do that, they usually end up on this show with me playing their own quotes back and showing where they are being hypocritical and inconsistent. Either the Constitution allows it or it doesn't. And let me give you a little hint on the answer. It doesn't. As I said, if you want to help others through your own private charity, great. But our Constitution does not allow for taxpayer money to be spent that way. If you don't like that inconvenient fact, then propose a constitutional amendment and put it to the vote of the states, like things are supposed to be done. I don't care what the circumstances are. This is what you're going to have to come to terms with as far as this show is concerned. We aren't like a lot of other shows that powder your bottom and tell you everything's going to be okay. I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to be consistent in doing it. You're going to have to learn to apply your principles consistently across your life. Because if you aren't, then this is what people are going to see about you, that you aren't grounded in your principles, that you can be blown about by the winds of life. This is why people aren't impressed by what you do, what you say, because they cannot put any stock in it. They have seen how you will change what you think, what you say, to whatever life is throwing your way, how you happen to feel that day. This is the problem, frankly, Christians have. And not just to pick on them, I would include most religions of the world that seek to convert people to their beliefs. The people in those religions will say you need to do one thing, and then they turn around and do the other. The Bible talks quite a bit about hypocrites, people who burden others with loads that they themselves refuse to carry. That argument never works. It always rings hollow. If you're going to live wrong, Just live wrong. But don't tell other people to live right if you aren't willing to do it yourself. And don't tell me you cherish and respect the Constitution, but advocate doing things that it doesn't allow. Too many people in America want to live off the backs of their fellow citizens. They want you to provide them with everything they need, but they don't want to return the favor, because that's not fair to ask them to support you. But they see no problem with asking you, well, no, I take that back, demanding you support them. Unfortunately, just like in my example of religion, lots of people who think this way call themselves conservatives. I can't say I've ever heard any libertarians speak that way, but I'm not so naive as to think that that's not the case. You see, the founders were a group of people who knew human nature. They knew the dark side of people, some of their inner motivations, their fears, and human failings. That is why they worked so hard to try and ensure no one branch or level of government could gather enough power to overrule the people. But that is what we have now. We have an executive branch operating outside the Constitution and a Congress who is doing nothing about it, mainly because they too are operating outside the Constitution, and we have a population who is allowing them to get away with it. And yes, I'm talking to you, the listener of this show. Each week I implore you to write, call, or email your congressional representative about these confiscations of our natural rights. How if they don't shape up, you're going to work your butt off to defeat that congressperson at the next election. So, how many cards and letters or emails did you send this last week? How many times did you call or leave comments with a staffer about the issues? None? Well, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for someone else to do it? Are you waiting until things are so bad that recovery is going to hurt even more than it will now? What we need to do is get back control of what's going on in this country. And the way to do that is through Congress and getting good people elected who will stand on principle and do what the Constitution says. We're up on the bottom of the break here on the Patrick Ricans Show. Boy, it just flies by. And we'll take the bottom of the hour break. When we come back, we'll smack that Republican Party around a little. Yeah. This is Patrick Ricans with the Patrick Ricans Show. We will be back.